want y'all to like, subscribe, share, hit notification. This Exodus one, aka Indigo Sky, aka Trigger Ranking. When y'all come in here, spam the chat with where you from. You want to support this channel or follow me on other platforms. Everything is at the top of the description. Hey man, so boom, we about to react. Got one from Poetic Flacco talking about David. Let's see what he's talking about.
There's only so many times I can say this David situation just keeps getting worse. I feel like with this new update, the only thing left to say is why is this man not in jail yet? Why is LAPD dragging their feet? How do we not have enough yet to lock David up? I feel like at this point it's pretty clear like who killed Celeste. It's pretty clear what the plans was for Celeste.
DA, clearly she thinks David did this, but there were more than one or more than two people who had some knowledge of it. A circle around David knew various things. The DA is closing in on somebody, and I believe two people who are very close to David, the singer who is a suspect in the murder of Celeste Rivas.
Yeah, I have no hope whatsoever in this investigation. We've been hearing that DA is on his tail since about week 2. And what's happened since week 2? David has been around the world. David has been chilling. David has managed to turn over all his properties to his mother names. David has had ample time to prepare his defense. So we have no faith in this whatsoever. LAPD is a freaking joke. Now, there's an update on this case. Now, the update itself just makes me realize why I don't have no faith in LAPD whatsoever. Because this update, if it was anywhere else, it's pretty damaging and would get that person in cuffs. But because it's LAPD and they're incompetent nincompoops, nothing is going to happen to David whatsoever. The private investigator, Steve, that was hired by the house owner, he let us know a while ago that when he was initially hired, he was hired after LAPD did their raid. And he showed up to the house and he found a treasure trove of information and evidence that LAPD didn't take with them when they conducted their search warrant. And they never came back to take these items away, even though they knew these items were there. They found it during their raids. They quote unquote took pictures of it, but they never seized it into evidence whatsoever. And he couldn't understand why. Well, it looks like we finally figured out what that was and what the treasure trove of evidence is. And it didn't come from LAPD or the DA. It came from the private investigator who spitefully released it because LAPD, instead of going after David, they've been going after him. They've been subpoenaing him. They've been trying to hold him in contempt of court. They've been trying to jail him and arrest him because he's been updating the public on information. They even did the same thing to the medical examiner officers, where their job is to provide transparency to the public. They have put a muzzle on a medical examiner office. Now they're going after the private investigator who's been trying to help get David locked up. And so he just said, F it, bro. All right, if y'all gonna come after me, I'm gonna release the information. So we finally know exactly what LAPD didn't feel like was necessary to take. And we do know a search warrant, you can only take certain things, but they still have the option to go ahead and get another search warrant to come back and get, pretty damning evidence from my perspective in this David case. In a Twitter post, Steve writes, although my words have been misquoted by some, what I actually said about certain items found at the Doheny address was that they were items you would expect to find on a farm rather than a home in the Hollywood Hills. Doheny address, if you guys are not familiar, that's the address that the Tesla was found at. Also David's primary residence in LA. One of those items was a bird cage incinerator. Why was a bird cage at a private residence? Well, that's the question we're all wondering. So LAPD did a raid or did like a search warrant at the home. They found a bird cage in a home where a dead body was found in a Tesla outside. And they thought, this is not important. Let's forget about this, all right? And they never took it into evidence whatsoever. So one of those items that were found was a bird cage incinerator advertised to burn at 1600 degrees. Human cremations are typically performed at approximately 1400 degrees. An incinerator is not legal to use within city limits and serves no legitimate purpose at a residential property in the Hollywood Hills. Some will argue that this item was intended as a prop for a music video. Cut it out, bruh. Cut it out, man. Those evil, sick, maniacal Fs were planning to cremate this little girl's body, bro. Yeah, they were just waiting for the right time to take that body out, cremate it, and get it out of here, bro. And to me, that was gonna be the last stage of this murder cover-up. Because once you cremate the body, like, like she's already been missing for like a year. Parents don't really seem too concerned about locating her. You cremate the body, man, bro. You good. Because they don't really feel like they really have any messages that are incriminating. They don't really feel like they have any text calls, nothing at all.
It seemed like they didn't know what they was doing. Like if this girl was missing for over a year and maybe she was unalive for a whole year, like what y'all got going on now? I never seen a case like this before though. A girl that young. And somebody not actually going to jail for this shit. Like she too young, bro. Like she young as fuck, bro. Like she's young.
And the police got the body, and they still can't piece together this murder mystery. If you would have cremated her, it would have been over with, bro. All right, it's done. Now, yeah, some will argue this item was intended, got the body, and they still can't piece together this murder mystery. If you would have cremated her, it would have been over with, bro. All right, it's done. Now, yeah, some will argue this item was intended as a prop for a video. If that were the case, it raises several obvious questions. Why do a 55-pound burn cage be delivered to a private residence instead of directly to a prop designer or production house? Why would it be ordered before departing on an extended world tour? And why was it never used in any video production? It is also important to note that there were additional items present that could be used in conjunction with the burn cage. What those items were, well, we would never know. That's because LAPD has a muzzle on Steve. To be very clear, this burn cage was not used. It was still new and in the box. However, given the Celeste Hernandez remains were ultimately found in a Tesla trunk, the presence of an incinerator at the same residence associated with the vehicle necessarily raises questions about intent. The burn cage was not taken during the search warrant, and because it was not used, it appears it's not of importance to any possible criminal investigation. But we think it's important context, even if not criminal. The burn cage and other related items were delivered to the residence under a false name. Although, come on, bro. Come on, son. Come on. The burn cage was delivered under a false name, so there's no tie. Come on, bro. Come on, son.
Hey, I hit the light button, man.
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
Come on. The burn cage was delivered under a false name, so there's no ties to David. They found it, man, cut it out, bro. Although the deliveries were accepted at the property, attached is a photograph. He does show the burn cage in the box. And apparently this right here is what it will look like. The Law and Crime YouTube channel did an interview with a detective and a law enforcement instructor, whatever that means. And even he seems pretty bewildered and confused as to why the burn cage was not of interest to LAPD. He would explain that even though the search warrant was not for the burn cage and it was very specific, they could have very easily went back and got a piggyback warrant the same day and come back and get the burn cage. So them choosing not to get the burn cage after about 3 months is kind of, confusing and incompetent.
I cannot think of a legitimate, innocent reason why a burn cage would be received in
Jamel, what up?
I don't think
Jamel.
anybody can, Matthew, but LAPD.
Why
Jamel, what up?
be ordered under a false name. I also, frankly,
Well, let's
can't
actually just start
understand.
there. Keep your thought. The
Okay.
only thing I would say is about a false name, if you
I don't know what that means. Sam Brighton, I don't know what that means.
he's a celebrity, he doesn't want people knowing that he's standing there. Thoughts?
Fair enough, but if he's got a bunch of people that he's working with because he intends to use this as part of a concert tour, as part of a video, he's got a whole staff of people that can order something for him. I don't understand why he would need to do it under an assumed name. But your point is well taken. That could be an innocent.
I already beat GTA 5. I beat the whole game. I beat GTA 5 years ago. Years ago. Maybe 9 years ago I beat it.
Explanation. But again, to Steve's points, if that is indeed the intent for this.
I'm waiting for 6 to come out. You know, 6 gonna have all the AI stuff in it. That's gonna be crazy. They're gonna have the AI shit in there. We're gonna be, man, it's gonna be wild.
This item, why is it delivered to a private residence? Why is it not with them on tour? Why is it not taken to some location to be used for some kind of a video? That said, I also can't think of a good reason why LAPD didn't seize this item. I mean, if you're conducting an investigation into a body found in the trunk of a car, one of your working theories has got to be that this body was placed there in order to move it from the scene where the death occurred and then transport it to some third location to conceal it or dispose of it.
Isn't there like 2 crimes
What's
being
up?
investigated at the same time?
Chilling?
One, the crime of murder or homicide.
We in here listening to Poet Flacco talk about this whole David thing, man, with this damn David and this little damn girl, man. Saddest case ever, bro.
Because they're now coming around to the idea that Celeste was murdered, that she didn't, just overdose and moved herself to the trunk of a freaking Tesla. But there's also, if murder didn't happen here, there's also abuse of a corpse, desecration of human remains. Those are other crimes that are being investigated. And you would probably be closer to that once you find out who ordered the burn cage. Because the person who ordered the burn cage is more than likely the person who, A, either David, or 2, they're helping David. And if they're helping David, they were probably the person.
Yeah, this whole David shit, man. I'm disgusted with it. I'm done with it. Yeah, I'm done with it.
Who moved the corpse, who abused the corpse, who desecrated the human remains. And you could bring them in on some charges and make them turn against David. But if you have no interest in the burn cage, if you have no interest in who would want to order that burn cage or who ordered that burn cage, since it wasn't ordered in David's name, you can find out who did I think.
This dude, man, he's so sick, bro. How you put a girl in a bird cage, bro?
Name belonged to. Who ordered it? Why did they order it? Those are things that I think.
Oh yeah, I'm good, man. I'm perfect. I'm like Gucci, man. I'm Mr. Perfect.
You would want to bring the bird cage and have it into evidence, right? Because let's just say they take a picture. Again, I'm not a lawyer, people, but they take a picture and they're not in possession of the actual burn cage. Couldn't, they just say, hey, that's a prop. Hey, like what was inside the burn cage was not the actual burn cage. It was something, right? Like if you don't have an actual picture of the actual burn cage or in possession of it, it's just absurd and it's insane. And I would think that
for them to put her in a bird cage that can burn her up is nasty work. That's nasty work, bro. That's disgusting.
They'll be trying to keep in possession of whatever evidence they have, especially when you take into consideration David and his friends are actively going out of their way to conceal and hide information and removing all digital traces as we speak. Key example of this is with this dude here called Neil the Asian. This is one of like David homies. He been scrubbing his social media, bro. He done scrubbed everything. If you go to his social media, there are huge gaps of posts that he has taken down, things that he has removed. And you want to ask yourself why. Like if you have nothing to hide, why are you taking certain things down? And then come to find out, if you like go through his page, well, these are no longer there, I believe, but you see him, bro, he's posing and he's partying with Celeste. Neil is a grown man. Celeste in this picture, I believe, was about 13 years old. So he's chilling and having a good old time with Celeste. He's partying with Celeste, and it's like, yo, like, why are you guys hanging out with a 13-year-old? Where is your parents? Now, if this is a man who was with David often on a routine basis, almost daily, one of David's right-hand man, who was around Celeste when David was very careful on who he brought Celeste around, very careful on being seen with Celeste, especially towards the latter part of her life, then bro, this man, like, removing things from his social media, hiding things, trying to conceal things, that's very important, right? And if these people are going out of their way to hide certain things, oh, he was like really.
Same thing happened when Diddy got locked up. I mean, shit. As soon as Diddy got locked up, all the people that was close to him, they started scrubbing their social media. You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess they were trying to.
Cool with Celeste as well. Really cool, right? So if he's going out of his way to hide certain things and to conceal certain things, then shouldn't y'all also be like as proactive as them into revealing or uncovering certain things, or trying to hold and be like, listen, I feel like, yo, there should be like hoarded evidence at this point, bruh. Whatever could be seen as evidence, you hoard it, bruh. Because you don't know what's important and what's not, especially when they're being proactive.
And for the big screen event. Get tickets now.
It's the humans. Their hair is so
3D
strong.
SpongeBob.
It's the ingredients in their hair.
Especially when they're being proactive. So this dweeb came back on Instagram to explain why he's been removing things from his Instagram and moving hella shady and hella suspicious. And he writes, I mean, yeah, eventually I'm gonna say something, but I kind of hate forcing myself into solitude because people on the internet assume the worst in people and will make up legit anything out of nothing. So eventually I'll say something I'm ready. Love all the real people that have been kind to me and don't make false assumptions. Bro, it's not really hard to explain, hey, bruh, I was with David. They did have an intimate relationship. David is an pedophile, right? Like, David is R. Kelly Jr., lock him up. It's not really hard, bro. You should be on the right side of things, especially in this time when you know David about to get arrested. You know. Rather it takes 5, 10, 20, 30, because there's no statute of limitations on murder, buddy. You know things is crumbling down. Turn on this man and say everything you know. Because I'm sure somebody who was around Celeste and David, I'm sure you know when Celeste passed away. I'm sure you know how Celeste passed away. I'm sure you know why Celeste was put in that trunk. Because David would have to...
Man.
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
Why Celeste isn't showing up no more and why she's missing.
And if you're looking at the possibility that somebody is trying to dispose of a body, and you search the residence of a person of interest in that case, and you find what is essentially a home crematorium, why don't you take that? I know that when you're serving a search warrant, you can only seize the things that the court authorized you to seize, and that you told the court you expected to find there. I'm sure nobody expected to find this item there. But what you do in a search warrant, when you find something evidentiary that was unexpected, is you write what's called a piggyback warrant. It's a simple addendum where you say, hey, judge, while serving that search warrant that you issued, we found this other thing. We think it's evidence. We'd like to seize that too. It's a typical one-page addendum that's tacked onto your warrant. I've never seen a judge not sign one of those, and I don't know why that wasn't done in this case.
Because LAPD are incompetent nincompoops. If you guys believe this David case is going to get solved anytime soon, good luck. I'm done being optimistic about this. I think LAPD has butchered this investigation at every turn. But y'all let me know in the comment section, what do you guys think? Well, I think we all know for a fact at this point that David is very sus. He's very suspicious. But I don't know, man. Y'all let me know in the comment section. What do you guys think about the job that LAPD is doing? And if you're still watching this video and want to watch another good video, then click on this video right here to find out why I can't believe that this nasty influencer keep getting away with this. She's effing pathetic. I'm going to see you guys in this video somewhere else.
Star snitch, y'all.
I think one of the biggest misconceptions with innovation or adopting tech is that it's going to eliminate roles or reduce the need for people.
Celebrating his doc, the Reckoning, Sean Combs' The Reckoning being not only #1 in the US, but now #1 in the UK. And he posted some flowers, and y'all know 50 love being funny.
Okay, so 50 Cent just pulled the curtain back on why Snoop Dogg suddenly vanished the exact moment the Diddy documentary hit Netflix. And listen, what came out of this is way darker than anyone expected. Multiple people close to the situation are now saying Snoop might not be as clean as his image makes him look, and some are even claiming his role could be just as troubling as Diddy's. Yeah, that sounds crazy, but stay locked in, because the details behind this are straight up shocking. In both the US and the UK. That alone is huge. But here's the part nobody can ignore. The moment this documentary went live, Snoop Dogg disappeared completely. No Instagram, no tweets, no jokes, no commentary at all. For someone who normally reacts to everything in hip-hop culture, that silence is loud. And here's exactly what we're breaking down. First, the real reason Snoop
and Diddy, they're homeboys. That's his homeboys.
Suddenly stepped back when Diddy became the main topic everywhere. Second, disturbing claims from people who say they were around both of them and saw things up close. Third, long-standing connections that have been right in front of everyone for years but never fully questioned. And finally, information tied to Kim Porter that is people re-examining what was really happening behind closed doors. Every piece matters, so don't skip ahead, because the last detail changes how this whole story looks. Before getting into the heavy accusations, you need to understand something important. Snoop and Diddy weren't just industry buddies or occasional collaborators. Their connection ran deep, personal, and long-term. This wasn't surface level at all. That history explains why Snoop's silence right now.
In my hand is a spider crab. I just bought it from the market. It's still
Hold on, y'all. Let me look at this record. I just seen this is a little short. I
a
want.
lot. This was literally the biggest one I could find, coming in at over 6 pounds. This is another one I got. I did not know that they came in the color blue. I'm really excited to cook this and see if he turns blue after I cook him. I don't believe these crustaceans feel pain, but because you guys do, I'm gonna put it out of its misery.
This is the pot we're working with. I don't know if he's gonna fit. That is the best we were able to do. That looks like it's honestly gonna be so good. There's some haters out there that are gonna say this doesn't look good, and you're cooked. You're lying, because that looks so good. Have you ever seen something more beautiful in your whole life?
You need to put it in the freezer for 5 to 10 minutes so that the meat solidifies. I'm gonna do that right now. Well, this is the finished product. Oh my goodness, look at that meat. In my hand is a spider.
A monster crab. I can't eat none of that shit.
We're here for our convertible.
How about a Miss TV?
Charleston White is beefing with Say Cheese TV. He said he's done with the platform. He's done doing interviews with Say Cheese. He called it Little League compared to other platforms that he's on. Now, he did a live stream to announce all of this, and on his live stream, he pretty much went out of his way to make Say Cheese look as bad as he can make it. Like I said, he called him Little League, but he also said that Say Cheese is trying to promote death among content creators, and Say Cheese calls death among other famous content creators like Mo3 and others. He also said that Say Cheese didn't learn his lesson from those incidents, and that Say Cheese is trying to instigate a beef with him and other Philly personalities that's gonna lead to somebody dying.
Somebody tag Say Cheese, I'm starting, yeah, and then I'm sick of, the channel ain't growing. Yeah. I probably flew out earlier yesterday, but me and Vigo be here. Well, what time? See how you do? Like my time ain't valuable. You know I'm bigger than y'all, right? Say Cheese TV. You ain't bigger than me. The channel ain't bigger than me. I don't get my money on time. I'll send you money tomorrow. Tomorrow come, I'll send it at midnight. I need it now. They got everything negative about the title. That's why the numbers slowed down. Quit making everything negative about Charleston. That's what's slowing your numbers down, Sean. And by the way, grow.
Well, what you mean by growth? You need better titles. I'm gonna break it down. If you look at their titles, it look elementary. That's why the advertisers turn it green, yellow. Oh man, why would we turn that green? They got the old lowercase, they got the other capital. Come on, man, y'all doing poor work, Say Cheese TV.
He has a lot more to say about Say Cheese, but we're gonna stop it here and get back to Charleston White a little later. I'm just walking you guys through my thought process when I seen this and how naturally the algorithm just brought everything to me. So when I was watching this, I automatically thought, man, there's something more to this, bro. Charleston White don't strike me as the type of dude who care about being portrayed negatively. He actually strives on negativity. He actually loves it. So being upset that Say Cheese is titling things the wrong way, I understand the money part, but even that's not enough to make, like to the side, a video got recommended. And the video that got recommended was a video from Oschino. And then I thought, oh.
When I see you, I know what you're baiting. When I see you, I know what you're bait me into being something that I'm not. That was down to the things you did. So when you see a real man like me, you can't believe, you don't know what to do. You're flustered. But then you go talk about, say Cheese said, oh, he talked to me for 2 hours, snapping on me, say he don't mess with me no more, he's not doing no more interviews. He said he's not even on YouTube no more. Guess he's going to be a stand-up comedian because, I mean, he's a clown. You know what I mean? So, you know clowns like they do. Clowns juggle. They juggle balls. Juggle balls. I mean, but my thing is this, I'm here to motivate you, even though you said things about my son, Gilly's son. Sometimes when I see a person that do those diabolical things that has no honor, you got to pray for him.
Messy as hell for contacting Oschino and letting him know, hey, bruh, Charleston White was just telling me that he don't want you on the platform and it really bothered him what you said about him. And he was screaming on my line for 2 hours. Why tell Oschino that? Like, why give him the heads up? Like, why give him some leverage over Charleston White in this beef? Charleston White must have said something really disrespectful to Sean, like on that phone, for Sean to kind of hang up that phone and immediately call Oschino and give him some leverage against Charleston White. But yeah, this is the real reason. Charleston White is upset that Say Cheese is having Oschino on the platform because when Oschino is on the platform, Oschino kind of go in and tear down Charleston White, deservedly so, because Charleston White started this beef with Oschino 100%.
I understand, I'm more handsome than Charleston White. I really did things that he Charleston White is known for being a rat. He's not, I mean, when Charleston White got to wake up in the morning to get his eye out of the glass cup and put it in his face, right? If I woke up and I was Charleston White, I would jump out the first window. So I don't even take it personal when him saying nothing about me. When I see him get smacked up in a barbershop and hide behind his girlfriend, I knew he was a chump. So I don't take, he like a little kid that's in the third floor window throwing rocks at your car. And you can't get in his house. So he's like, yeah, you did. So I don't take, people take what he take personal as a fool.
But anybody could get smacked in a barbershop though. That can happen to anybody.
Not me. Not me. I mean, I got a burn, I keep a burner every day. You smack me, you gonna get clapped. Not only do I keep a burn, I keep a banger on me on my head every day.
Charleston got charged for shooting the guy who did it.
Well, you should have shot him that day. But this is the thing with me, Sean. I lose the fight in a minute. I mean, not smacking me and I'll lose the fight. You'll see me get beat up, right? So my thing is this, bro, you hide behind your lady. When that's you hide behind your lady, you are a bona fide coward with one, but I understand he's a little guy. So he just got a lot of hump. He's a little guy. And me and Charleston White was in the cell together. I smack his eye out of his head. Pow.
If Oschino went on Say Cheese TV and just started saying these things about Charleston White, I could understand Charleston White feeling like he's Say Cheese's biggest draw, that Say Cheese should protect him more. But this was after Charleston White was on Say Cheese and Sean asked him about Meek Mill's liking a disrespectful post about Oschino's dead son. Charleston White not only said he supported what Meek did, but he said that he himself was looking for the post disrespecting Oschino's son so he could like it. The man is diabolical, man. And that's why I'm like, bruh, if you did all of that, why are you tripping that Oschino now gets the platform to talk about you? Like, did you really expect for you to say that about Oschino's son and then Say Cheese should edit or delete whatever Oschino said about you? At that point, bro, I think Say Cheese might have been in danger, bro. Oschino not playing that, bro. He would have smoked him.
Oschino got interview, State Properties from Philly. His son passed away a few years ago. Him and Meek Miller into it. I'm gonna paraphrase for you. Him and Meek Mill are into it. Somebody was making fun of Oskino's son passing away. Meek Mill liked the post. What's your thoughts on that? Because his son was cool with Meek before he died. So it's deeper than them two beefing. But
nothing's deeper than a beef. Nothing's deeper than a beef. So if me and you beefing, and me and your son were cool, and your son dead, and me and you beefing, I'm with Meek on this one, your son.
Really?
Death don't mean nothing to me, it means something to you. That was your son, wasn't mine. You feel what you feel, not me, your boy. But I did dead people kid. I was looking for the post so I could like it. I was looking for the post so I could like it. Yeah, I was looking for that post like a motherfucker. I could like that post. Your dead son. Nigga don't care about nobody dead family.
But this is somebody you knew when he was a kid.
And me, listen, I could know your mama. I know in the streets. They'll kill you and still go to the funeral like they love you with your mama. That's street shit. Ain't they
like son. So when Charleston White is doing his live stream yesterday, where he's going off on Say Cheese and saying he's done with Say Cheese TV, Charleston White brings up the fact that Say Cheese is having people up there to speak about him as if he's not the draw, and he feels like Say Cheese don't value him because of that. He will also go on to say that Say Cheese is instigating a beef between him and Philly to get him killed, right? To watch somebody die, because that's what Say Cheese wants. And he would say that Say Cheese habit of instigating beef that gets people killed, that he will list off several people. But, like, bruh, Say Cheese just asked you a question. Like, I feel like Say Cheese probably expected you to say, man, Meek was wrong, man. Nah, you don't do that, Meek. You went completely left. That's not Say Cheese's fault. That's your fault.
You messy. You gotta be like Antoine Daniels and the other people who, you got a problem with Charleston, let's not do that here. That's why your numbers going down. Come back to dancing, block you. See how them dancers looking over there without me. And without me, Say Cheese TV numbers don't look so good. And I've been holding it back. And I think you setting up a beef for me and Philly, for somebody to die. I really think that. You got a history of it. You got a history of it, son. Mode 3, you ain't learned from Mode 3, Trap Boy Freddy, and Yellow Bees. You ain't learned. That's why your channel not growing. You stagnant, your numbers. You was trying to do something extra. Now you just throwing out anything. Anything. Your audio up. Your audio up at Barstool Sports.
This is Buick. Now. Buick.
Sports. Your audio up. You ain't got no new mic. You just stagnant. That ain't how businesses grow. I'm growing. I'm actually growing past you.
Charleston White has fell out with a lot of friends and a lot of people. I got no problem with Charleston White, but I think the truth is the truth. If you fall out with so many people, at some point we got to start wondering, is it them or is it you? Because he fell out with Denza. Denza, those are some really good dudes. You fall out with Anti-Dales. Anti-Dales is a good dude. Now you falling out with Say Cheese. Say Cheese is a good dude. Fell out with Vlad. Fell out with Academics at some point. You fell out with a Fresh and Fit. You know, at one point you would ask, okay, is it Charleston or is it everybody else? At this point, I think it's Charleston, man. I think Charleston may be a little too difficult to work with, man. Because now critiquing the Say Cheese title, I guess you could maybe do that, but the Say Cheese interviews you do kind of get more views than the other interviews you do in this similar niche. Now, if you want to go to like the Cam Newton interviews or the Patrick Bet-David interviews, those channels are outliers, right? Because Patrick Bet-David has a significantly gets bigger podcast, a bigger platform than Say Cheese. You have the Cam Newton podcast that did 11 million views. That was Cam Newton. That that was a moment. But can I say right now that because of Say Cheese and his titles or how he's interviewing Charleston like that's the reason why numbers are going down? I don't think so whatsoever. And then also too, bro, like blaming Say Cheese for starting a war between you and Philly, I think.
Bruh, why does it feel like every time I open my phone, 50 Cent is beefing with another grown man. First it's Diddy, then Dr. Umar jumps in, then French Montana catches a stray, Fab's name gets dragged, and somehow everybody who stayed quiet is suddenly uncomfortable. And what's wild is, this ain't random. 50 isn't just trolling. He's testing loyalty. He's forcing sides, and he's dragging stuff people hoped would stay buried. Because once one loud dude starts talking, everybody else's silence gets real loud.
Hey, y'all, we had the Panda Press.
And trust me, by the end of this, you're gonna see why some of these names wish 50 would just stop posting, but he won't. Bruh, people keep acting like 50 just woke up one day bored. Nah, this is timing, precision. This is someone who's seen how these stories end and decided, I'm not waiting for the cleanup phase. Because let me tell you something, when the industry thinks the storm is dying down, that's usually when the real damage starts. That's when people get nervous. That's when phones stop. That's when favors stop getting returned. And 50, he knows cycles. He's watched too many untouchables go from legend to liability real quick. So instead of whispering behind the scenes, he's laughing in public.
Come on now, y'all. I wouldn't take this level of... Come on, man.
It's the NBA on Prime.
Finally, Billy Stone. Why? Because once people start laughing at you instead of defending for you, it's already cooked. The respect is gone. And don't miss this. He's not reacting emotionally. He's isolating, making it socially expensive to say, yeah, but that's chess, not rage. Now this part, this is where it went left. Dr. Umar came in trying to moralize the moment, and the internet does not like lectures anymore, especially when they sound like detours, because the contradiction was loud. You can't scream protect the community while dodging harm inside the community. People clock that instantly. And here's the part folks missed. 50 didn't even have to clap back hard. He let the silence do the work. Let the comments marinate. Let the awkwardness sit. Because online, the worst thing you can be is someone talking around the issue instead of through it. The moment Umar entered the frame, he stopped being an observer and became part of the story. And that's never where you want to land. Ever. Let's be real for a second. This ain't about 50 being too loud. It's about choice. Silence used to be neutral. Not anymore. When allegations stack, when people speak, when footage exists, staying quiet starts looking like alignment. That's why folks get uncomfortable. Not angry, uncomfortable. Because now they got to decide if they're protecting truth or protecting access. So what happens? Deflection. Why now? Why him? Why like this? All delay tactics. All noise. 50 isn't answering those questions because he knows something simple. Truth doesn't need perfect timing. It just needs daylight. And once the lights come on, everybody who benefited from the dark starts scrambling. This is the part people really don't get. 50 never tries to convince you someone is guilty. He convinces you someone is weird to defend. That's the play. He drops clips that make you squint, moments that make you uncomfortable, stuff that makes you go,
Wait a minute.
Who are you?
yo, why does this even exist? Because once someone feels that discomfort, they don't need instructions. And notice, he's not just aiming
Man,
at
that
big.
little white boy so
He's
funny,
split.
man.
He drops
He
clips
said,
that make
wait a
you
minute,
squint,
who are
moments
you?
that make you uncomfortable, stuff that makes you go,
Wait a minute. Who are you?
yo. They don't need instructions.
Hell
And
no.
notice, he's not just aiming at Diddy. He's tagging everybody in the radius. French, Fab, media voices, commentators. Why? Because power doesn't survive
I was
alone.
like, wait a minute.
It
Who
survives
are
through
you?
proximity.
Look at that. Who
So when
are
50
you?
shakes the tree, he's not counting apples. He's watching who falls. And trust me, some names haven't even hit the ground yet. All right, this is where people start getting real quiet. Because notice, 50 didn't accuse. He reminded. Old clips, old moments, old energy. And that's dangerous. Because nostalgia hits harder than allegations. When you show people how comfortable someone looked back then, you don't have to say anything else. French Montana smiling, Fab joking, Diddy moving loose. Nobody's saying this means guilt. What it means is you were there. And right now, being there is a liability. That's why those names sting, because silence would have passed. But receipts age badly when the room temperature changes. And 50 knows, the internet doesn't forget vibes, ever. Let me say this clearly. This is not trolling. This is repositioning history. 50 isn't fighting people. He's editing the narrative in real time. He's deciding who gets remembered as adjacent versus untouched. And once that line gets drawn, brands notice, platforms notice, lawyers notice, because nobody wants to be on the wrong side of a documentary timeline. Nobody wants their name popping up in episode 4 like, and then there was this guy. That's why people are nervous. Not because 50 is loud, because he's early. And early is always scarier than late. Now, Ray J, this is painful to watch, because there's a difference between crashing out and controlling the narrative. And right now, he's doing the first one. 50 never begs the internet to believe him. Ray J keeps yelling for validation. And the internet is cruel. They reward clarity, not chaos. They don't care how emotional you are. They care how clean your point is. That's why 50 looks calm while everybody else looks frantic. One man is playing offense. Everybody else is reacting. And reactions always look guilty, even when they're not. Here's the uncomfortable truth. When the top figure starts falling, everyone who benefited from the ecosystem gets audited. Socially, not legally, yet. People start asking questions they never asked before. Who knew what? Who stayed silent? Who laughed too loud? And 50 is accelerating that process on purpose. Because once people start answering those questions publicly, the machine breaks. No more unified silence. No more we'll handle it privately. No more pretending this was all rumors. That's why this moment feels
chaotic.
Chaotic, because it is. This is the sound of a circle cracking, not from the outside, but from pressure inside. Here's where it flips. A year ago, silence was protection. Now,
Everyone's gearing up for the holidays. In a Chevy of their choice.
silence was protection. Now, silence looks like alignment. Because when 50 keeps swinging and you say nothing, people don't think you're neutral. They think you're hoping it blows over. And hope is not a strategy in the documentary era. The internet doesn't read silence as maturity anymore. It reads it as, my lawyer told me to shut up. So every quiet artist right now is doing mental math. Speak and risk backlash, or stay quiet and let the timeline speak for you. Either way, somebody's name is getting dragged. Pay attention to this part. 50 never sounds angry. He sounds amused. And that's intentional, because anger makes you look emotional. Humor makes you look untouchable. When you laugh while exposing people, it sends a different message. I'm not scared of what you know about me. That's power language. It's the same tactic comedians use when they roast elites. If you clap back too hard, you look guilty. If you ignore it, it sticks. So 50 jokes, and lets the internet do the rest. That's not trolling, that's strategy. Let me be real for a second. Lawsuits come and go. Settlements happen. PR teams spin. But culture doesn't forget. What's happening right now is cultural exposure, not legal exposure. And cultural exposure is worse, because it changes who gets invited into rooms. Suddenly people don't want to be photographed together. Group chats get quieter. Old friendships turn into no comment. This is how industries clean themselves without admitting anything. They don't cancel you, they stop calling. And that hurts way longer than court. This one, Dr. Umar didn't attack the facts. He attacked the messenger. And that's always a losing move. Because when victims exist, arguing why are you exposing this sounds like deflection, even if that wasn't the intention. The internet doesn't hear nuance when trauma is involved. They hear protection. And once people think you're protecting power instead of people, your message...
Like I said, Dr. Umar should just stay out of the whole Diddy thing.
It's buried under suspicion. That's why 50 didn't debate him. He dismissed him because debate gives legitimacy. Dismissal ends conversations. Now let me plant this thought. People think 50 is done. I don't. This feels like phase 1, testing reactions, seeing who panics, watching who over-explains, because the next wave, if it comes, won't be jokes. It'll be patterns, and patterns are harder to explain away than clips. That's why some folks are laying low right now. They're not hiding from the internet, they're hiding from connections. And connections are what end careers quietly. Let me land this clean. This isn't about 50 being messy. It's about
I ain't gonna lie, 50 got the ball in his court. I don't know if y'all ever heard old school people like the ball is in your court. He has the actual ball in his court at this point.
power shifting hands. The era of don't ask questions, just respect the legend is done. People want receipts, timelines, and accountability, even if it's uncomfortable. And once that door opens, it never closes all the way. So yeah, this looks like entertainment, but underneath it, this is a warning shot to an entire generation of gatekeepers. And some of them know it. Here's the part people don't like to admit. This whole moment isn't about who's right or wrong online. It's about what happens when fear stops working. For years, silence was currency, access was leverage, and power lived in private rooms. Now, cameras, clips, and culture don't care about your legacy. They care about patterns. What we're watching isn't a collapse. It's exposure by erosion. Nobody kicked the door down. Nobody yelled. People just stopped protecting. And once protection disappears, everything starts sliding on its own. That's why jokes land harder than threats right now. That's why humor is louder than anger. And that's why some people are way more nervous than they're letting on. So don't get distracted by the memes, the trolling, or the personalities. The real shift is this. The old rules aren't being enforced anymore. And when rules disappear, truth doesn't rush out. It leaks, slowly, relentlessly, until there's nothing left to hold together. Now I got...
Man, y'all check out Panda Press, bro. The dude, hey, he don't miss. I'm talking about Junior Watanabe. I'm talking about, did I miss? I'm talking about that nigga Junior Watanabe. But y'all check out Panda Press, bro. He got a good channel, bro. He don't miss, bro. Hey, he be spot on.
And did you know that thanks to Marathon Rewards, you can be earning up to 5 cents a gallon on every fill-up? You can earn rewards on each fill-up on
Yo, we back with another one. Kanye West came out and said Blueface is a clone. Let's get right into it.
I'm sure we can all agree that that ain't Blueface. That is not Blueface. They did the same with Gucci when Gucci got out.
Say what now? Not Kanye West exposing Blueface for being a clone. Girl, these clone allegations are getting
That don't look like Blueface though.
out of hand at this point. We should have known the Blueface parading around right now isn't the same Blueface we knew. He came out of prison looking 200 pounds heavier and refusing to get back with Krishan. Kanye West has been very vocal about the cloning in the industry, especially since he was almost also cloned. However, his recent revelation still comes as a surprise because the last person we expected him to speak about was Blueface. Okay, so the allegations about Blueface being cloned started the very minute he came out. As I said earlier, he visibly looked very different than people are used to. A lot of people just figured that he was eating a little too much of that jail food, but what really got folks talking is those ugly tattoos he has on his face. The tattoos literally don't make any sense. It's basically Telegram, Walgreens, Major League Football, St. Laurent, Washington Nationals, and Chase logo.
Yeah, why do we got all them different logos tattooed on his face too?
That what I was thinking, like, you wasn't no bad looking nigga before you went in jail, bro. You look fat as hell, tattoos on your face. You don't look like the same person that went to jail, bro.
And why he was in jail, so that's crazy too.
You cannot make this up.
Photo of Blueface before and after prison. This is quite a change. This is Blueface before going to prison, and this is the new Blueface. Very, very different. We have the Chase logo Are you a scammer? Maybe you just like trapezoids. I don't know. And then we have what looks like a Washington Nationals logo in between his eyes. Or maybe it's Walgreens. Maybe he always wanted to be a pharmacist. Maybe he has a perk habit. I don't know what this W means.
When he was asked why he got the tattoo, this is what he had to say.
But I mean, I think to a lot of people, dedicating your face to it at this point was an interesting decision. Like, how would you explain that?
I try to tell niggas where I'm from.
Now, when it comes to Kanye accusing Blue of being a clone, it initially...
Hello, you from Chase Bank, nigga? What you mean? What you mean? You got tired of people telling people where you was from.
It came as a shock, but after a little digging, it became clear to everyone that this is something Kanye has been talking about for years. But as usual, no one was listening. You see, Kanye has made a lot of wild allegations about people getting cloned before, but the reason people took him seriously this time around was because of the timing of his allegations. In fact, there was a time when people even thought Kanye was a clone. Also, back when Kanye was going to it with the industry over his anti-Semitism, he posted a screenshot of a disturbing text message from some Hollywood executives, basically telling him that if he didn't stop running his mouth, they would lock him up in a facility and put out a cloned version of him. The message read, "I'm going to help you in one of a couple ways. First, you and I sit down and have a loving and open conversation, but you don't use cuss words, and everything that is discussed is based in fact, and not some crazy stuff that dumb friend of yours told you or you saw in a tweet. Second option, I have you institutionalized again where they medicate the crap out of you and you go back to zombie land forever. Play dates with the kids just won't be the same."
My mom ain't here. My mama was sacrificed.
Me too.
You understand?
Yeah. You Christian?
Michael Jordan. What about him? His daddy, right? Bill Cosby, his son, right? Dr. Dre, his son. You know, out in Hollywood, a lot of people come up missing. You understand? They hit me. Gap, Adidas, all that away. Still Forbes, who hate me, right? Had the right net worth $400 million.
Also, people brought up how similar Blueface's alleged cloning is to what happened to Gucci Mane. When Gucci Mane came out of prison, he wasn't the same Gucci Mane. And up until this day, people are convinced that the Gucci we have now is a clone, and that his wife Keisha is getting paid to keep his clone.
Yeah, I think Guwap definitely a clone, though. I ain't gonna lie. The Gucci, he just ain't been acting the same since he been out.
Under control. Before prison, Gucci was known for a rounded, lean belly from years of substance use. But when he came out from prison, he was 50 pounds lighter with six packs. Some people even pointed out his ice cream cone face tattoo looking less visible after his release. The rumors were fueled when rapper Hopsin made a video on Instagram admitting to being Gucci's clone. He made this video right when people were accusing him of being Gucci's replacement.
I've been personally playing for about 8 years now. It started around around Illmind 5 when that came out.
It's not the holidays until you've seen Garden Lights Holiday Nights at the Atlanta Botanical Garden. Get tickets now.
So we've only got 1 hour. Could you plan us a tour?
Around Illmind 5 when that came out. Because the song was so big and they told me I had to kind of sacrifice something. They said you're gonna have to pay it back because you just put this information out there. This is gonna put people in the wrong mindset of what we're trying to do in society. So they told me that if I don't do these list of things, then they're going to hurt my family. And it was like an all white room, and they opened one of the doors, and it had a Gucci suit. A Gucci bodysuit. And I said, oh no, please don't tell me that is what I think it is. They said, yeah.
Gucci actually ended up addressing the clone allegations, and this is what he had to say. In a way, I feel like I grew. I kind of morphed into a different person, shedding some of my old ways. I can say I grew up. I love the person I was. I love the person I am. And I love the person I grew to be. I tried to lose weight. I tried to take care of myself, change my thinking, my environment, and the ones that weren't benefiting me. Guess that's the transformation everybody's saying they can't believe, but I can believe it. And this checks out with what Gucci's ex-girlfriend Mac Brezzi said a while back. Mac explicitly said that she knows for a fact that Gucci unalived in prison and cloned while he was in prison.
Cause girl, you don't even know the real Gucci. Y'all think y'all know the real Gucci. Y'all don't know the real Gucci.
That nigga parading around out here, that ain't the real Gucci, man. That's not him. I don't know what the fuck, honestly. Like, last time I seen Gucci was at Patchwork Studio in 2010.
Hold on. She don't look the same either. You know what I'm saying? She don't look the same either. So is you the real you? Wait a minute. Hold on. Did they do something to clone you? Cause she showed on the that don't look like her in them pictures. Did you get cloned? Yeah, you probably got cloned too.
Cold Blooded was there. Was Mojo there? Yeah, I think Mojo, Cold Blooded. Like, this the last time I saw Gucci in the flesh, but even free Gucci, thank you. Man, something ain't right. Gucci, is you in there? It's something ain't right.
Now, just when we thought the clone allegations couldn't get any worse, Cat Williams also stepped in to defend the allegations that Kanye made about Blueface being cloned. According to Cat, the reason Hollywood is able to clone these celebrities so easily is because they know that people won't question. And the few ones who do will probably be called crazy.
We don't believe that there's clones. We don't believe that because we don't feel like we have the technology. What you have to do is make a clone brain dead. Figure out how to engineer a brain dead clone that'll grow organs for you. And then they'll make cloning legal, because then you'll never have to worry.
Also, he revealed during a recent interview that cloning initially started with animals, but after a while they started testing on humans, specifically celebrities.
Do you think that there is actual cloning going on? We know that there's actual cloning going on. The question I believe you're asking is human cloning.
Oh, yes, sir.
But let's start with the real question. The real question is cloning going on? Yeah, it is.
I knew it.
Let's just say animal cloning.
Oh,
right?
yes.
Let's start there. That's not a myth or
no, that's
not a conspiracy theory that we are at the point where we have no problem cloning animals. If you lose a pet, you can send away to these companies and they'll
fucking remix that bitch and send it back.
Right.
Yeah.
That's close approximate.
Remixing your pet and sending it back is crazy.
Crazy. I'll be right back. Give me 1 second, sir.
You can imagine.
Yeah.
Right? That we know is possible. Okay.
The similarities between Gucci and Blueface is crazy. So if they really did clone Gucci, then the possibility of them cloning Blueface too is very high.
So this crazy. Gucci went in fat, came out thinner with a 6-pack, muscled up. Blueface went in slim. I don't know if I never looked at the man body like that type, but I know he was slimmer. He come out fatter. So how does that shit work?
Blue even lost his ability to make music since he came out. Usually I'd probably overlook it and just assume he fell off, but
We're gonna look at a trap pose. We're gonna check this one out, trap pose, see what they're talking about. The last video flipped out.
Sunday, count on chaos when playoff berths are still up for grabs.
The Buddha video
on him right now, but he can't move around Jacksonville without us knowing about it.
When I put on my back, when I rose up to the city and I put a seat on my back, ain't nowhere to be found, man. I be talking about ain't putting no work, you niggas be tripping, man.
For years, Young and Ace and Julio Fulio basically turned their Jacksonville beef into a business,
turning
Y'all check out Trap Pulse. Is it the name of the channel we're reacting to is Trap Pulse YT.
real street drama and disrespect into streams and clout. But when Fulio got killed in Tampa in June 2024, it looked like Ace came out on top, only for things to flip the other way.
Don't talk about it. I mean, talk to him, you know, man. I say no more, K ain't no more. There ain't no more.
His career low-key started slipping because no Fulio meant no viral diss songs and no easy money rolling in. And to make things even crazier, people started whispering that Ace might have played a role in Fulio's death. Let's get into it. The war that built them. Now, long before Fulio's death, both he and Young and Ace were actually doing pretty solid in their careers. Ace had been dropping music since 2014, but it wasn't until around 2018 that people really started paying attention. Songs like No Witness, All In, and Find Myself had that raw, emotional edge that made people gravitate toward him. His pain was real, his stories were heavy, and the internet connected with it fast. Fulio's come-up started a little earlier. Around 2015, he began catching eyes with Coming Up, which helped him start booking shows and making real money off his music. He branded himself heavy with his crew, KTA, and over the next few years, he became one of the most talked about young artists in Florida. The energy, the street ties, the storytelling, it all hit at the right time. But
little fun fact, y'all, born and raised in Jacksonville, Florida. Where they from?
the real moment their careers exploded was when the beef between them kicked off around 2017. That's when the Jacksonville rap scene basically turned into a battleground, and both rappers profited from the chaos. Streams went up, attention went up, the disrespect went up. Everything escalated. Then 2021 hit, and that's when things went from local beef to full-on viral moment. Out of nowhere, social media got flooded with reactions to one song, Who I Smoke, by Young and Ace and his crew. They flipped Vanessa Carlton's soft piano hit 1,000 Miles into one of the most disrespectful diss tracks ever recorded. The video looked wild. Ace and his boys standing on this fancy golf course, smoking cigars, dancing around, all while the lyrics straight up celebrated the deaths of people from Fulio's side of Jacksonville. They weren't talking in metaphors. They were mentioning real names, real people who had died.
Real niggas got killed.
Right there on the bright, cheery beat everybody recognized. They even mentioned Fulio's younger brother. The shock factor was insane. The internet ate it up. Within a month, the video had 16 million views, and reaction channels, TikTok creators, and influencers were all talking about it nonstop. It was disrespectful, catchy, and chaotic. Basically, the perfect recipe for virality. Of course, Fulio wasn't just going to sit there and let that slide. If Ace went bold, Fulio was ready to go even bolder. He took Fantasia's When I See You, slowed it down, flipped it into a haunting remix, and loaded it with direct shots at Ace. But the real hit came from the visuals. In the video, Fulio stood beside a massive printed poster of two of Ace's close friends and Ace's blood brother, all of whom had been killed in a shooting Ace survived. To understand how heavy that was, you gotta go back to what happened. It was a regular Tuesday in June 2018. Ace, his brother, and two of his friends were heading to Wasabi, a Japanese steakhouse, to celebrate one of the guys turning 18. Everyone was vibing, taking photos, posting on Instagram, just enjoying the night. But what they didn't know was that somebody was watching. Ace's Instagram story, showing him outside the restaurant and recording his friends inside, gave away their exact location. Their rivals saw it.
Chilling after that, we chilling in the parking lot, laughing, playing. They fighting. Just like, we slipping, for real. We ain't need no point because we so caught up in the moment.
They waited outside, following Ace and his crew as they left the restaurant and drove onto the highway. When the car stopped at a red light, that's when everything went left. Shooters pulled up and unloaded bullets into the passenger side of Ace's vehicle. It was a brutal trap, quick, targeted, and devastating. Ace's two best friends and his brother were all killed on the spot. Ace was hit multiple times and left fighting for his life.
Fruit Magnesium from Bioptimizers is now available at your local vitamin shop. Is there any...
were all riding together in this car on Town Center Parkway when people in another car that pulled up beside them started shooting at them. Kenyatta Bullard, who goes by the nickname Ace, was the only person in the car who survived the attack.
News spread fast across Jacksonville. Fulio heard the rumors before they even hit the internet, and at first he thought Ace had died too. But Ace pulled through. He survived, but nothing about his life was the same. He left that hospital without 3 of his closest people he had in the world, carrying trauma that would follow him into his music and his career forever. Fulio's death. So once Fulio dropped When I See You, it was pretty much stamped that there was no turning back for either side. The disrespect had gone way.
I don't know, for some reason I like them damn I forget what the I don't know if it's a melancholy voice or I forget how the voice like what it's like it's one tone. I forget that melancholy, something like that. When the voice would be like the same shit all the way through. Cause me, I might be like, hey man, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be like, hey, I'm just chilling today. You know what I'm saying? Like it might be either way with me.
Too far. The losses were piling up and the beef had already cost lives on both ends. And eventually the same cycle that boosted both rappers' careers would come right back around and take Fulio himself. June 2024 rolled around and Fulio had just turned 26. Like anyone celebrating a birthday, he wanted to have a good time. He set up a pool party and of course posted the location on Instagram so his supporters could pull up. But as the day went on...
I didn't know that Fulio was that damn young, bro. He was 26, nigga. Like, nigga, I'm like damn near... I ain't gonna say 2 times older than him, but I'm older than him. That shit crazy.
Smoothly. From his own Instagram stories, it looked like the event had to be moved. At one point, Fulio said the police kicked him out of the original spot, so he switched the celebration to a Holiday Inn. That decision ended up being the turning point. Later that night, Fulio continued posting birthday videos, completely unaware that everything was about to go left. Hours after the location switch, around 4 a.m., Fulio's girlfriend suddenly posted a gut-wrenching message on X. Y'all took my boyfriend away from me. I hate y'all and I won't be the only one crying. That was the first sign that something terrible had happened. Not long after her message, a shaky, early morning video from the Holiday Inn parking lot started circulating on social media. Police lights were flashing, and rumors were spreading fast. It was eventually confirmed that around 4:30 a.m. in Tampa, shots were fired in that hotel parking lot. Fulio and 3 other people were hit. Fulio didn't make it. The rapper, who had spent years locked in one of the most publicized beefs in modern rap, was gunned down on his own birthday, 26 years old.
A birthday celebration that took a turn for the worst. Now cars filled with bullet holes are at the center of an investigation to find out why famous rapper Julio Fulio, who just turned 26, was shot dead early this morning.
But what made everything even messier was what happened immediately after. Hours after news broke that Fulio had been killed, a brand new Young and Ace record dropped. The timing alone had the whole internet raising eyebrows. The song was called Do It, and the lyrics didn't help calm anything down. Ace rapped, "They mad at me that Ninja died, that's not my problem. I'm getting rich off the dead like that's my problem." People were stunned. Some thought he recorded it months ago. Others thought the release was intentional, but whatever the case, the internet was on fire. The beef was already dark, but made things feel even darker. Then 5 days later, Ace followed up with a full video titled Ready to Die. That one went straight to the top of YouTube's trending page and racked up millions of views within a day. Fans, critics, bloggers, everybody started breaking down the symbolism and subliminals in the video. There was a bottle with a name that sounded suspiciously close to Fulio's. There were lines in the song that matched the exact details of the Tampa shooting. Early morning phone calls, 1 person dead, 3 others hit. Even the tone of the video felt like it was referencing Fulio's death without saying his name directly. The collapse. After Fulio's death, Young and Ace was riding the wave. Views were up, money was coming in, people were talking about him nonstop. It looked like he was about to level up off the tragedy. But what he didn't see coming was how fast that momentum would flip on him, because once the shock wore off, Ace's numbers started dipping, and they...
On my chocolate lovers, I have the easiest chocolate treat for you, chocolate brownie truffles. I'm using one of my favorite pantry staples, Krusty's double chocolate gluten-free brownie mix. You're gonna bake them off, let them cool, and then we're going to dip it in some semi-sweet chocolate. This is such a fun way to put a twist on a box brownie mix, and they're so easy. You can make this in advance too for any types of parties and gatherings.
Hard. Through the second half of 2024, his uploads were struggling to even crack 1 million views. Some barely scraped a couple 100,000. For a YouTube channel with around 1.8 million subscribers and hundreds of millions of past views, those numbers felt like the digital version of a heartbeat monitor flatlining. Growth slowed, the charts froze, and revenue trackers reflected the same stall. The peak hit fast and disappeared even faster. So what happened? Why did Ace's momentum just fall apart? First off, the conflict was the content. Almost every major moment in Ace's career was tied to the beef. The viral record calling out names, the back and forth songs, the message tracks, the subliminals. The tension gave his music stakes. Casual listeners kept tuning in because they wanted to see the next chapter of the story. But once Foolio died, the entire storyline vanished. No rival meant no sparks. No sparks meant no hype. And the regular drill records, even though they were polished, couldn't recreate that "You Got Fear" this right now feeling his older tracks carried. Then there's